Missing someone with all your own. Missing someone with heart. How much you missing?
Hello everyone, and happy belated Halloween. Yesterday was Halloween, today is November 1st, and it's kind of chilly outside, but it feels really good. So, as I told you in my last video, I had some interesting information to share with you, and I don't know how everyone is going to take this. I just know that it is a fact, officially, as of yesterday. I have officially resigned as a flight attendant. I am no longer going to be working as a flight attendant. I am so excited about this decision. I cannot believe it's actually happening, or that it's real, or that I let it go, but it's gone, and the bearded traveler is no more. So I left for a lot of reasons, but I've narrowed them down to 10, and I'm going to give you those 10 reasons in case you need to know what could happen to you, or what thoughts may pop into your head, or even just things to consider going forward as a flight attendant. It was a rough road for me, and basically in the most recent days on this on the Austin trip that I was just on, I was feeling so defeated and so by myself, and just like I didn't want to do it anymore. And I knew that there was something, I mean, it's been going on for months now. I've been wanting to go because there's a disconnect, and a lot of it is just from the beginning, it just didn't feel right, you know. At the end of the day, that's what it kind of boiled down to, but there are other reasons, and I will get into those. But also how it basically came about, the whole resignation process, in case anyone is wondering. I had been applying to jobs, and I came home, and I don't know if I mentioned that I got a transfer to Dallas, but I got a transfer to Dallas for January, but that would require me to spend the next 2 months in DC with the weather getting colder and the storms coming and snowing, and I just don't know that I'll be able to get to work. And they basically told me that I was on my last leg because of the call-outs, because of not being able to get to work and being sick and things of that nature, and that they're not going to represent me. So I wanted to set myself up for something successful, not for something bad. And I feel like if I were to be let go, you know, last minute, that would be really, really bad. So I applied to go back to fashion and work in a retail setting as a visual merchandiser, doing all the windows and all the displays and all the fun and all the things that I do best. So on a whim, I applied, and I called to see if they were still hiring after I submitted the application, and they asked me to come in that day, and I did the interview, and I got the job on the spot. After doing a little test run with some mannequins, I got the job. So I knew then I had a backup, and I knew that I had to make a decision fast, and so I flew to DC. I got my things from the crash pad, I returned the keys, got my deposit back, flew back home, and then typed a resignation letter and submitted it to my flight service manager. And then I felt like $1 million. I haven't felt this excited in so long, just to have something end. I mean, it was so toxic, and I'm so happy it's over. So I'm gonna kind of just run through these 10. I don't want to make this video too long, but I do think that it's important to kind of go over the 10. This is in no particular order, this is just brainstorming, but basically the first thing, the biggest thing, was commuting. Commuting has changed the perspective of the job, because it was like working before you had to work. And I think at the end of the day, nobody wants to, no matter how fun the job could be, nobody wants to like wake up and work before they have to work. And I know I'm just sitting on the planes, but it's so much more than that. It's back and forth and checking on your phone if flights are full and that type of thing. So commuting is there's a B. Okay. Commuting is hard. Commuting is hard. It is really, really not easy to do, and you cannot control the weather, and you cannot control the flight loads. And I mean, on my last Mistrip, a furniture market in Greensboro, North Carolina is the reason why I got a Mistrip. I mean, realistically. So in order to, you have to be a mind reader. You have to know what's happening all around you in every city, because people fly in and out of different cities. So if you're living in a very small regional area like Greensboro, for me, this is very difficult to get to Washington, D.C. So commuting can be your downfall, and it was mine, and it was exhausting, and I just couldn't do it. The transfer situation was one of the biggest reasons why I decided to leave. It just shouldn't take as long as it does to get someone from a different location after being placed somewhere they don't want to be. It shouldn't take that long to get them to where they need to be, especially when they have special circumstances. I understand that they're able to make it work, and I understand that in training you do agree to any place, but it's different when it's you and it happens to be a little kind of chaotic after training. And I mean, money can change, people can change, situations change. And so yeah, sure, you were able to transfer to any base or whatever, move there, wherever they send you, but things aren't always like that after training, so keep that in mind too. So waiting around for that transfer was miserable. Day in and day out, constantly checking, constantly emailing. It's just like a fifth job. It's not worth it. There's too much risk. That's my third number here, is that there's just too much risk. There's so many things that can go wrong. You can't get sick, you can't miss a trip, you can't be late, you can't do anything wrong even after your first 6 months, because when they say that we have a union at this airline that I worked at, the union the union did nothing for me. The union didn't care about special circumstances or the fact that there were situations that needed to be taken care of, or things that weren't being done correctly, like hardships being given to people and also given mutuals and not wanting to go back and re-award. I mean, there were tons of reasons, and I just feel like at the end of the day, the risk involved is just not worth it. Like, you could drive to any other job, and if you get sick, they're not going to fire you. And for the company to tell me this could happen to you is a little ridiculous. And I'm not really interested in gambling, and I just feel like that's all I ever did was, oh, am I going to make it today? Am I going to get fired today? It takes away from the joy of the position. You don't even want to do it anymore. So I just am not into risk. I think another really big one, the next one, is the quality of life. The quality of life it's so poor. I mean, I can only speak from someone who is based far away from home, but the delays and the cancellations and living in a crash pad and sleeping in crew rooms and just all of those things, those normal qualities of life that we take for granted on the ground, you know, sleeping in your bed, being able to drive your car, those types of things just don't happen to everyday people like they do for a flight attendant. Nobody else has to sleep in a crew room after they get off a 13-hour duty day flying just to sleep, you know, because they don't have, no one in the career of flight attending starting out has money to spend $100 and something a night on a hotel just because they have to go to work. That's absurd. So yeah, they don't really, flight attendants at this airline, I can only speak for this airline, but they don't have a good quality of life. New hires especially. I mean, they become accustomed to it and they almost don't even realize how bad it is until you bring it up or mention it, but even then it doesn't matter to them. They're going to continue to live like that because that's what they know best. I just live a more comfortable life at home, and I don't really want to live it like that. So another big point, benefits are not benefits. Standby isn't standby, and insurance does not cover anything. And by that I mean, what benefit do you get by going to the airport and potentially getting on a plane just for you to not be able to get back, or for you to end up not getting on the first one and having to drive 2 hours back home away from the airport? Or your friends, for instance, you only get 16 one-way tickets and you still have to pay for them. They're still like $200 to go across the US. It's not even that cheap. You could buy your own for $50 more for a confirmed seat. You only get, realistically, you only get your parents, who most of the time have 9-to-5 jobs, or at least most people's parents, or most people in the world do, so I'd assume their parents do. And it's like if you don't have parents, they don't supplement those passes for anyone else, and your partner or your registered companion or whoever it is, like JD is to me, it's impossible. I mean, you can't go anywhere because people outside of your career live a very different lifestyle, and so the timing and the dates and everything and their life does not line up with yours. So when you're off, they're on. When they're off, you're on, and it just doesn't mesh. And so you can't get on planes, you can't go anywhere, and it just isn't a benefit. The insurance, if you want to pay a lot of money, you can get an insurance that will cover a lot of things, but it cost me just to go to the doctor for the most recent illness of mine. It cost me $156 just to see the doctor, and I pay like over $60 a month for that insurance, which isn't that high, but for someone that's, you know, single on the medical forms, I just think like it shouldn't still cost me $160, which you're going to need to pay every time you get sick. So the benefit's not really a benefit. This job, it basically forces you to become extremely unhealthy. I have never gained so much weight in so little bit of time in my life. And it's so ironic because I worked so hard to look so small and perfect for the interview process, just to fit into this category of what they want you to look like. And no one ever says you're gonna gain weight, and you know, because it's you eating airplane food and snacks and anything you can find, because you're working 13-hour days and there's nothing but fast food in the airport. There's no fresh food anywhere in sight when you get to the hotel, and if you don't pack food, then you don't eat. So you pack food, but you can't pack enough food for 5 days. It's impossible to pack that much food in a bag because TSA won't let you through with it. So there are ways around it. I know a lot of people get creative. They buy like little oven things and mini heater warmers, but I'm not lugging all that just to have food, and it's usually full of sodium anyway, and I'm just not interested. There's really no time to exercise because you're so tired, so I don't know how anybody else can get that done in a hotel. I mean, you land, it's like you've seen on my vlog, you land and it's like 8:30 in the afternoon, or 8:30 at night, and you've got to be up and out by 8 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you haven't eaten all day, nobody wants to go to the gym, so you just end up sleeping a lot. The next would definitely be the lack of recognition for what we put into the job. I've never been in a job like this. I've worked in a lot of different jobs where there's, you know, various levels and positions, but I think that they simply don't care about you. They don't care about your life. They don't care about the good work you do. They don't care about special circumstances that happen. I mean, people die every day, and they will just tell you, so you're denying a trip. And I just don't understand that, because it's human decency. I get making the operation happen at the airline, but it just doesn't work for me. I mean, I need to be pat on the back and said, you know, that you did a good job, or you tried, or don't beat yourself up about it, like don't die over it. But instead, they force you to dig yourself into a grave and cover yourself up with the dirt and say, oh, I guess I'll just get in trouble. But that's really not fair. Not when you've worked so hard to get to where you are. The least they can do is recognize you, or at least they can do is make accommodations for people whose family members are dying and all these other things, instead of giving people the runaround with hardship. It's just not right. Loneliness is a huge problem with this job. I was always lonely. I was always by myself, and even when you hang out with somebody, like, you're not really hanging out with them, because we're all doing the same thing. We're all checking to see if our flights back home are full, or if this is going to be a problem, or if that's going to be a problem, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. You miss your life, you miss your friends, you miss your family, you miss driving a car, you miss walking to the mailbox. You just can't do it. So, I would say, last but not least, the worst part of all is that you apply for this job so you could be a traveler, and so you could see the world, and so these layovers, when you get them, are going to be so spectacular. But the reality is that they're not. The layovers are short. They usually arrive late because of the delays. and the cancellations and splitting me off trips and deadheading me to places I don't want to be. There's never a moment where anything is solid. You can't pin anything down. You can't bank on anything going correctly because it's not going to go correctly. And your layovers will go from 15 hours to 11 or 11 to 7, and when you call to request that you need more sleep, no one cares that you need sleep because, again, no one cares about you. You're a number. So when you do get there, you have to be able to force yourself to drink 17 cups of coffee just to go out and walk around a city that you've never been to. And after about 3 months, I promise you, it will be you coming into the hotel from the shuttle and going into your room and collapsing, and it just is not conducive to a healthy mind or a healthy lifestyle in any way. And you get to that point, which is why I left it last, because it's exactly what happened in Austin. You get to the point where you're looking at yourself in a mirror in another city that you've never been to, and you say, why do I do this? What is the point of doing this anymore? If this is what this is supposed to be about, this job is supposed to be about, and you're not getting that out of it, it's time to end. So those are my reasons why I quit being a flight attendant, and I think I am very proud of myself because I tried very hard to make it work. I tried so hard to keep going despite everything that I went through, and I wanted it to be good and I wanted it to work out, but it just didn't. So as I said, I'll be working as a visual merchandiser. I'll be back in the fashion industry, and as far as this vlog goes, this will be the last video on the Bearded Traveler channel. I'm gonna leave the channel up just as a form of memorabilia for my past, and that way I can go back and watch what life was like for me when I was a flight attendant in a few months, so when I have a clearer brain, and in case I start missing it or regretting it or whatever, you know, emotion I'm going through at the time, I can kind of educate myself on the reasons why this all came downhill as it did. I'm moving on to a new channel, and I hope you guys will follow me over there. I haven't decided. These bees are out of control. I haven't decided what I want to do just yet as far as names, and if I want to make it about merchandising or if I want to make it about design, but I will probably post a some sort of message through the Bearded Traveler channel. So if anyone's interested in following some more life of me style videos regarding my life as a fashion designer and visual merchandiser, then I will be able to get some of you on board, and that could be cool. And I don't know how long it's going to take to kind of get into the swing of things again, but it's been real and it's over, and I am so happy that it is. So I will see you guys in the future, if not on this channel, probably not on this channel, then on another one. But if not, then maybe I'll run into you somewhere in the world now that I'm not traveling. Bye guys!